Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News. Our top headlines tonight. COP27 concludes high-level summit today. Come to Tanzania and see amazing waterfalls. Good evening, it's Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, and you'll be with me, Rose Shayo, for the next 30 minutes, giving you the latest and most credible news for today. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBConline, and get all the latest updates through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TBConline. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says polluters must pay for the damage they cause. He made the call while the UN's 27th annual conference of the parties, COP27, concludes the high-level summit today. During the summit, developed countries urged to ensure loss and damage caused by the climate change becomes operational and asked to have climate financing, adaptation, mitigation in form of grants and not loans. The conference warned that mounting economic crisis should not delay action and increasingly obvious global warming threats, and fundings should be done to help climate-hit countries cope with the surging losses. At the COP27, countries came together to act towards achieving the world's collective climate goals as agreed under the Paris Agreement and the Convention. This year's summit theme is Together for Implementation. The summit aimed to shift the focus from negotiations and planning to action on the ground. During her speech in the conference, President Samia Suluhu Hassan insisted a shared vision amongst all nations and the fight against climate change. To know more on how a country like Tanzania is affected by climate change and what the country as a whole can do to minimize the effects, Teddy Mparanyanga is live with senior lecturer from the University of Dar es Salaam, Dr. Noah Makula.
Thank you, Rose Shayo. And moving on directly to interview our guest here with us, Dr. Noah Makula, a senior lecturer from the University of Dar es Salaam. Good evening.
Good evening.
May you please tell us, what do you think are the ways that can be done or the measure that can be taken to combat the effects of climate change, as we have already seen the concrete effects brought about by climate change?
Yeah, thank you so much. Climate change is real, and its impacts are now felt at the local level, and we need to act now as a people at different levels, from the global level to the, I can say, to the community level. Looking at the national level, for example, our country has been, prepared some policies. We have the environmental policy of 2021, and we have the national climate change response strategy. We have the national adaptation and plan of action. Those are the documents which shows the willingness of the government or the country to combat climate change. We also have some strategies, guidelines, and that is at the national level. We have the plans, we have some actions going on.
The world is said to work on its own, or that people and organizations cannot really do anything about the effects brought about by climate change. To what extent is this statement true?
As I said, climate change is real, and the cause of climate change is the global warming, which is caused by the increase in greenhouse gases. And this greenhouse gases increase is associated with human activities. So there is that attribution of the increase of temperature with the increase of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So it's human activities which is accelerating the warming of the globe. Therefore, we cannot separate humans from the changes that we are seeing in the climate.
Lastly, developed countries are said to be the major causes or the major lead. They basically lead to the effects of climate change. How is this statement true, and what can be done if it is true?
I can say it is true because the increase in temperature, which is attributed to the increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, started to be traced back during the Industrial Revolution. And the industry, the energy which is used in the industries, the use of fossil fuels, the use of coal, pumps a lot of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So if you compare the developed world and the developing countries, you can say yes, they are the major contributors. But we have our share also, the developing countries, our land use practices, clearing the forests, making charcoal, opening new farms, etc., etc. We are contributing. But if you look into percentage-wise, they are the major contributors looking into the economic activities, the source of energy they use in their economic development.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Rose Shai.
Thank you, Teddy. And on to the next story. The mother of a young man, Majaliwa Jackson, who made efforts to rescue some of the passengers in the Precision airplane crash, has thanked President Samia Suluhu Hassan for her decision to give her son the opportunity to join the fire and rescue brigade. Here's a report prepared by our correspondent Charles Mwebea from Kagera and narrated by Faithangaga.
It is early in the morning at Nyakanazi area in Bukoba district. Citizens are witnessing the efforts being made in carrying the remnants of the airplane crash. She is busy with her daily work.
Nilikuzalia hapa government hospital Kakuri hapa ya mkazi.
Majaliwa was born and raised here. He went to government school, then joined secondary school. When he was in Form 2, I became sick and therefore I was unable to support his education.
According to Majaliwa's mother, his son had hardships she faced, despite his thirst for education.
And this made him so sad. His dream was to go on with the studies.
Some of Majaliwa's friends say it is Majaliwa's character to volunteer to do various things in the community.
Watoto walikuwa wanaogelea. Wakaogelea mtoto mmoja akazama. Majaliwa alikuwa mtu wa kwanza kuingia mle majini kumwokoa.
There once was an accident here and Majaliwa was the first one to rescue a child that has drowned. Majaliwa has always been a person who involves himself in social activities.
Kipindi tuko wadogo tulikuwa tunapendelea sana kuogelea.
Ever since we were young, we always loved swimming, and he always dived deep into the water. We were always scared to follow him down there, but he was always very courageous.
Majaliwa's mother thanks President Samia Suluhu Hassan for recognizing her child's efforts in the accident.
Nilikuwa naomba fursa.
I always hoped for my son to go back to school. He always loved education, but the only problem was the finance. I'm so grateful to Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan for all that she has done.
Faithangaga, TBC.
The government says the Air Accident Investigation Unit has officially started the investigation of the cause of the Precision airplane crash that occurred last Sunday following the discovery of the plane's black box. Government spokesperson Gerson Msigwa, while addressing journalists, he thanked all who participated in the rescue operation. Here's a report by Charles Mwebea, narrated by Teddy Mparanyanga.
Government spokesperson says that a team of investigators have already arrived to investigate the cause of the accident that led to the death of 19 people in Lake Victoria, just a few meters from the Kaitaba airport in Bukoba.
Timu ya wataalamu iko hapa Bukoba.
A team of professionals are already here in Bukoba and have already started investigation. But there is also a team of investigators from ATR in France, which is where the plane was designed, who are expected to arrive here today and will join our team here. We shall later on be joined by the manufacturers of the plane's engine.
Wataalamu wanakuja leo, lakini pili kuna watengenezaji wa engine ambao pia kwa pamoja wanakuja kufanya uchunguzi.
The government spokesperson has called for Tanzania to stop spreading fake news in regards to the accident and says that the government has set laws that will supervise accidents and calamities of 2022 and create a better rescue environment when accidents or calamities occur.
Sasa niwahakikishie kwamba utekelezaji wa sheria hii umeanza na unaanza mara moja.
I assure you that the implementation of this law has begun. We will buy equipment and take them to several accident-prone areas. We shall teach specialists and the society better ways to deal with the accidents. So this is another way that will help to strengthen ways to eliminate accidents or deal with them.
Kwa hiyo ni fursa nyingine muhimu ambayo itatuimarisha sana sisi kama nchi juu ya uwezo wetu wa kukabiliana na majanga pale yanapotokea.
The process of getting the plane out of the lake has already been completed, thus helping the team of investigators to effectively continue with the investigation. Teddy Paranyanga, TBC.
Negligence of some drivers have been reported to be one of the causes of many road accidents occurring along the Morogoro-Dar es Salaam highway, especially the Mikese to Maseyu section. Here is a report by Remy Yacinti.
The Morogoro to Dar es Salaam road is amongst the most busiest roads in the country, accommodating many vehicles daily in a 24-hour time frame, with vehicles traveling in and out of the country. Both Sikh people and business people were stuck at Lubungo A village, Morogoro district. The locals here say this is caused by drivers' negligence, whereby the drivers do not follow the traffic laws.
The road from Maseyu to Fule village is very crooked, especially at our neighborhood Kagera, where there is a slope followed by highland. Two cars from both sides could collide if they're in high speed.
This driver is Kenyan. He is forced to turn his car into a shelter after being stuck on the road for 2 days. He says despite the crookedness of the road, some drivers are a source of road accidents.
Most of Tanzanian drivers are usually in high speed, and the bus driver tend to overtake other buses. In areas that are risky, those all contribute to all accidents. This place is prone to road accidents, and that is because there are no road signs that indicates that this place is inhabited by people. The government should ensure that the road signs are erected here.
This situation can be solved if drivers can follow the road safety measures and laws, and the law enforcers will put more effort on enforcing the laws so as to avoid road accidents that usually claim the lives of innocent people.
Tanzania and Zimbabwe have expressed their intention of leveraging business and trade between the two countries through partnerships that will be executed through a wide range of investments, which is expected to create a number of employments as well as boosting the two countries' economy. The ambitious target between the two countries have been announced by the Director of Business Development from the Ministry of Investment, Industry and Trade at the inaugural meeting between Tanzania and Zimbabwe. Rehema Sebabili reports.
It's a two-day meeting organized by the Tanzania Trade Development Authority, TanTrade, and ThinTrade of Zimbabwe, which have brought together Zimbabwean and Tanzanian business communities to discuss how they can cooperate in doing business. Speaking during the event, the Director of Business Development and Trade from the Ministry of Investment, Industry and Trade, Christopher Mramba, said that Tanzania will continue to create a good environment to attract investment in the country, while the export manager from Zimbabwean Business Development Authority, Tatenda Arume, added that they are determined to invest in various sectors, including tourism sector.
Expectation of our ministry and of the government is to see a good number of business deals concluded during this forum, in which actual businesses that aim at increasing the employment opportunities, growth of trade between our two countries, and growth of investment between our two countries create all those business opportunities.
And hopefully this is the beginning of the process. We hope that the two private sectors are going to find middle ground, and that they are going to find ventures that they can pursue together, again in a win-win situation.
On the other hand, some Tanzanian and Zimbabwean business persons have said that the meeting is important because it will help them learn and find new business and commercial partnerships.
We are here to look for a business partner from Zimbabwe, but also we are here to look for business people from Zimbabwe who are looking for market in Tanzania, or who are looking to buy product to sell in Zimbabwe. So we are here to make to create a win-win situation where we can also trade in Zimbabwe. They can also trade it. They can also export to Tanzania. We can also import it.
The opportunity is huge. There is a lot of business that is being transacted between Zimbabwe and Tanzania. For instance, Kariakor. Most Zimbabweans like to go to Kariakor. They buy clothes from Kariakor in wholesale and they sell from the other side. Grains like maize, rice, they get it from here also. And there is a huge opportunity for Tanzanians to sell to Zimbabwe.
In Tanzania, looking for business opportunities and partnerships. We would love to do partnerships with Tanzanian business people, build relationships, long-lasting relationships like our forefathers did.
Looking forward to do much business in Tanzania, and we are looking forward as well to take greater business from Tanzania to Zimbabwe.
Trade volume between Tanzania and Zimbabwe is said to be low, whereby Tanzania has been able to export goods in Zimbabwe worth of $14 million, while Zimbabwe imported goods in Tanzania worth of $7 million. Reporting from Dar es Salaam,
endowed natural resources located in the southern part of the country will bring more changes and hence benefit local citizens. Here is a report by Irene Mwakalinga.
Although the Southern Circuit Tourism Party is said to be unpopular, but it is believed to have virgin land of wild animals, flora and fauna, natural vegetation, and strong cultural attractions. But what should be done to uncover the unseen? Isabella Mwampamba is the Tanzania Tourism Ambassador.
This attraction has not been promoted much. So the government should just invest in the promotion of these national parks or tourism attractions in southern part. But secondly, for the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism, they can just see on how they can reduce the investment fee to this attraction which are found in Southern Circuit, so that many people, they'll be interested in come and invest.
The advice came ahead of a 5 days Karibu Kusini International Tourism Fair that starts tomorrow as the government and the private sector initiative to promote tourism and investment opportunities available in the southern part of Tanzania.
We Iringa people, we are proud because we have so many, what we call national resources. Because even you can see the Ruaha National Park, I think is the biggest park in East Africa. But people, they don't know well. So this is the opportunity for us, a chance to promote also our national park, which is Ruaha National Park.
We're from Germany and we really love Tanzania, and it's a beautiful country. Everyone has to visit, yeah.
Actually, we welcome every person to come and visit in Iringa, and we think that through this Karibu Kusini Tourism Fair, we are going to benefit a lot with us Iringa region citizens.
The stakeholders never forget to talk about infrastructures heading to the tourist points.
Is the infrastructure. we think that maybe roads are not properly made. For example, the road from Iringa to Ruaha National Park.
The Karibu Kusini Tourism Fair will also offer cultural foods, traditional dances, and a trip to Ruaha National Park. Irene Mwakalinga, TBC, Iringa.
This year, Norway and Tanzania celebrates 50 years of cooperation in the area of energy. The focus of this cooperation has ranged from hydropower development, rural electrification, competence building and support to women engineers. Tanzania has a potential of about 1.1 gigawatts of renewable energy sources, which is key towards achieving a sustainable energy transition. However, strategic partnerships are a circuit in mobilizing adequate finance and technology needed. In an interview with Nasa Kingu of TBC, Neema Shayo, who is the energy advisor at Royal Norwegian Embassy in Tanzania, says Tanzania needs to develop more skilled labor and competence to reach more funds for sustainable development goals.
The question is, when, of course, it comes to African countries and the sub-Saharan especially, we are really still lagging behind in terms of how do we tap into these opportunities in terms of different financing mechanisms to be able to implement these projects. Because one thing is to really be able to expand in terms of electricity access is to be able to have competence and skills of how we can access different funding. Can we have more institutions? Because we need both private and public institutions to play together to be able to mobilize this big funding that will be able to invest. And of course, I would also like to highlight, when we see big projects like, for instance, the Mwalimu Julius Nyerere hydropower project, 2,115 megawatts being developed, it requires investment, right? And these are not just enough in terms of taxes that citizens get to pay, but it's also you have to blend in terms of lenders from banks.
If you were to explain the issue of energy financing to a common man, how would you break it down?
Well, so what is that all about? It's really how do we achieve the sustainable development goal number 7. Yes. That includes, universal access to energy for all, but also affordable and modern technologies. The question is, when, of course, it comes to African countries and the sub-Saharan especially, we are really still lagging behind in terms of how do we tap into these opportunities in terms of different financing mechanisms to be able to implement these projects.
Tanzania is known for its trekking and incredible mountain ranges, as well as being one of the premier safari destinations in the world. However, if you are a lover of waterfalls, Tanzania has some incredible places to visit. Here is a report by Margaret Getty.
These are some of the most spectacular waterfalls found within the country of Tanzania. Materuni Waterfalls. This remarkable waterfall is situated under the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro, carrying crystal clear glacial water which falls 80 meters into its basin. When combined with a coffee tour in the Materuni village, it makes up for a perfect day trip. Kalambo Falls. This interesting waterfalls is literally on the border between Tanzania and Zambia. Kalambo Falls are the tallest falls in Tanzania and the tallest uninterrupted falls in Africa, standing to a height of 235 meters. Kisasa Waterfalls. Situated in the Usambara Mountains, belonging to Eastern Arc Mountain Range, Kisasa Waterfalls is located in Lushoto district of Tanga region. This eye-catching water falls to a basin from a height of about 75 meters. Sanje Waterfalls. Being one of the most popular waterfalls in Tanzania, Sanje Waterfall is hidden in the forest of Udzungwa Mountains National Park, being 270 meters high, something which gives this fall a look that's pleasing to the eyes. Tululusia Waterfalls. This waterfalls is at the base of Mount Meru inside Arusha National Park. Hidden away by a secret path, this waterfalls is tucked between rocks and a wall, and it is possible to reach the falls on a day trip, making it possible to explore shortly. Napuru Waterfalls, a remarkable site located only a few kilometers from the touristic city of Arusha. Descending from the slopes of Mount Meru, these waterfalls are one of the top most visited destinations in Arusha town. Nhumbe Waterfalls. Referred to as the jewel of the park, Nhumbe River or waterfall is one of the most tributaries of the Great Ruaha River. It is approximated to be 102 meters tall, found inside Kitulo National Park. For more of touristic attractions found in the country of Tanzania.
That wonderful report by Margaret Getty concludes local news tonight. International news up next. And here is Nyambona Masamba with international news.
Rwanda is accusing its neighbor, DRC, of provocation after its fighter jets enter Rwanda airspace. Congolese planes have been targeting M23 rebels in the east of the country. More than 3,000 new army is also in October. M23 rebels launched a new offensive in October and have seized 2 towns in eastern DRC Congo. To Pakistan. Pakistan said the journalist who was killed last month in Kenya was targeted. Arshad Sharif was shot dead in Nairobi in 2 months being left to Pakistan. We're winding up our international news and Mexico. Mexico is becoming the second country in the world dangerous for journalists. That's according to an organization protecting journalists. It says attacks come both from organized crimes and the authorities. At least 13 members of the press have been killed in this year. That makes the country second only to Ukraine on journalists' death. 151 journalists were murdered the last 30 years in Mexico. Nyambona Masamba, Dar es Salaam.
That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Rose Shayo, and have a lovely night.